Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I have an unboxing and a review of the Antique Anatomy Tarot. This is by Claire Goodchild. As you can see, this is quite a big box. So pardon me if I clip anything out of the frame. So as you can see from the front of the box, there's gonna be some skulls and some anatomy in this deck. So if that's something you're not comfortable with, I will link a different video down below for you to take a look at if you're not into this type of imagery. But if you are, let's dive in together. On the back of the box, it reads, "Oddities and curiosities await you in the Antique Anatomy Tarot. Enliven your readings with this exquisite deck of tarot cards which feature vintage anatomical illustrations and delicate botanical drawings. The accompanying guidebook offers insight for every card and explores the many ways you can use the deck for self-discovery and personal growth. A wildly creative interpretation of the practice, the Antique Anatomy Tarot is an indispensable tool for the contemporary reader." And here then the bottom, it talks a little bit about the creator. It reads, "Claire Goodchild is an award-winning artist who specializes in tarot and astronomy and the founder of her company, Black and the Moon. Experience more magic at blackandthemoon.com. So if you're interested in picking up a copy of this deck yourself, I will link that down below in the description so you can more easily access this. So this box is a hinge construction. It opens up like this. On the inside cover, it reads, "It's all in your hands." And here we have the guidebook. And if we take it out, we can see it is quite a big guidebook. And inside we have the cards, which are your typical size cards. Before we jump into the cards, let's take a look at the guidebook. So this is quite a large guidebook. So let's go through. Inside we have the Antique Anatomy Tarot guidebook for modern reader. Here we have some beautiful illustrations. So as we can see here, we have a pretty good table of contents. It goes over an introduction, some of the basics, reading the cards, and it goes over the Major Arcana and the Minor Arcana. If you pay attention down here, the suits have been changed a little bit. So we have the suit of elixirs, the suit of rods, suit of coins, and the suit of blades. And here we have an introduction and a little bit of history of tarot. Talks about the majors and the minors, a little bit of the basics, about the Minor Arcana. This is, as you can see here, a pip-style deck. If you don't know what that is, we'll get a little bit more about that later on. But basically, it's a minimal deck. The minor cards don't really have the classic imagery. Here we have some numerology, the astrology, and again, you can take a pause, take a read, zoom in. The elements of the tarot, which is really convenient, some color association. Again, this book has a lot of really great information. If you're newish to tarot, or if you want to learn more about the tarot cards besides the basic readings that you might see online, I think this book is very useful. Some ways of using the tarot, spreads, meditation, dream interpretation, spell work, or journaling is actually a really great way to use a tarot deck. Caring for your deck, a little bit of preparation, bringing in a new deck. Some spreads. 1-card spread, 3-card spread, a moon cycle spread. Very great, very useful. Celtic Cross, very popular. Take some time to learn each card position definition, and I think this is really, really useful. And here we go into the Major Arcana. As you can see, we have the image of the cards on this side, and then we have an expanded description of the cards on this side. As you can see, it talks about the numerology, the astrological correspondence, what element it's associated with, a companion card, and then again a little bit about the card and some keywords at the bottom. If we go through, it does this for all of the cards. So let's skip through and let's find ourselves the minors. And here we come into the first minor suit of the Arcana. And here it talks about the suit of elixirs. And it does tell you that traditionally this is called the cups. The elixir suit is governed by the element of water. It represents emotions and relationships. So really good information to have. And again, you have the card here, the image, the name of the card, a little description, and some keywords at the bottom. It does this obviously for all the cards in all the suits. Really, really good information. And of course, on the back, we have a little bit about the author and some credits. So that was the book. Again, lots of useful information. Even if you're a semi-experienced tarot reader, I think there's some really good insights in this book that you maybe have not thought of before or seen anywhere else. So that was the guidebook. Now let's take a look at the cards. So I've gone ahead and removed the cards from the packaging, took out the binding, and here we have the first card, which is the Fool card. And I do love it on the bottom. It says, Item, the Fool, Figure 0. That is brilliant. If you're familiar with anatomy books, everything is labeled and has a number and it tells you what it is. This is beautiful. And again, the colors. One of the things in the guidebook that I mentioned was the color symbolism. Here we have reds and yellows and golds and blues and whites. And of course, the actual anatomical drawing there is just in black and white. Here we have the Magician, the High Priestess. It's captivating, yet a little off-putting. If you don't know, this is the skull of an infant or a small child. That is typically what it looks like. So it can be a little off-putting when you see that. Here we have the Empress. And of course, the Emperor. Here we have the Hierophant. The Lover's card. Brilliant. Just a heart. Showing the chambers inside. How they are connected. The red, or those roses, carnations in the background. Beautiful. Here we have the Chariot. Now I did see this image a few times in the book, and I think it fits beautifully with this card. Here we have Strength, and of course, this is the strongest bone in the human body. I can see why this deck is highly recommended and highly sought after because it is beautiful and it is so smart. Here we have the Hermit, the Wheel of Fortune, Justice, another brilliant card, half brain, half heart, the duality, I love it. The Hanged Man. When you see this card, and if you know the Hanged Man, you think this card is backwards, but it's not. It is dark, but I think it's brilliant. Here we have Death, beautiful. Temperance, two hands reaching for the same brain, gets you thinking, what does that mean? The Devil card, absolutely stunning, beautiful card. The Tower. This reminds me of when I visited the catacombs in Paris and all those skulls that are stacked up down there. If you've never been, highly recommend. Just don't go in winter. It gets very cold down there. Here we have the Star. The vertebrae almost look like little bees flying around. The Moon. And you have that skull facing backward. So you get just it's like a correlation image. The moon, the back of the skull. And of course the Sun is like the mirror image of the Moon card we just saw. Absolutely brilliant. Here we have Judgment. And of course, the World. Now we come into our first Minor Arcana, which is the suit Elixirs. And again, on the bottom, you have exactly what I just said. Suit, Elixir, Figure 1. So this is the Ace of Elixirs, or the One of Elixirs, the Ace of Cups. And like the book mentioned, and I mentioned before, this is a pip-style deck. That means the cards are not going to have your typical illustrations. They are going to be a little bit different. So I might go through these a little bit quicker than normal. If any of them do stand out, I will speak on them when I come to them. So we have the Two of Elixirs, the Three of Elixirs. I love how it's a love potion. The Four of Elixirs, the Five of Elixirs, the Six of Elixirs, the Seven of Elixirs. Think of a playing deck, like a deck of cards. The Ace of Hearts has one heart drawing. The Two of Hearts has two. The Three of Hearts has three, and so on and so forth. But because it's a tarot deck, each card has a little bit of a different theme. So the bottle's a little bit different. What's on the bottles can be a little different. I saw some love potions, some elixirs, some tonics. This one here, the Seven of Elixirs, typically it's a card about choices. What are you going to pick? And you can see each little vial has a different drawing and a different type of potion inside of it. Here we have the Eight of Elixirs, the Nine of Elixirs, the 10 of Elixirs, and then we come into the court cards. So we have the Page of Elixirs, Eternal Youth, makes sense. The Knight of Elixirs, the Queen of Elixirs, and of course, the King of Elixirs. Our second suit here is the Suit of Rods. So we have the One of Rods, or the Ace of Rods. And again, the Suit of Rods here is going to be your Suit of Wands. So we have the Two of Rods, the Three of Rods, the Four of Rods, the Five of Rods, the Six of Rods, almost look like golf clubs, the Seven of Rods, the Eight of Rods, the Nine of Rods, the 10 of Rods. Here we have the Page of Rods, the Knight of Rods, the Queen of Rods, and of course the King of Rods. Next we have the Suit of Coins, which is your Suit of Pentacles. So we have the Ace of Coin, the Two of Coin. So far this is a little bit different. I love that there are drawings on the coins. So here we have two hearts, beautiful. The Three of Coins, and again, the coins have different drawings on them, different images. The Four of Coins, the Five of Coins. Here we have the Six of Coins, the Seven of Coins, the Eight of Coins, the Nine of Coins, and the 10 of Coins. Here we have the Page of Coin, the Knight of Coins, the Queen of Coins, and the King of Coins. Last but not least, we have our Suit of Blades, which is the Suit of Swords. So we have the Ace of Swords, the Two of Blades, the Three of Blades. This is typically my favorite card in a lot of decks that I own, the Three of Swords. I do like what they went with here. Even though it is a pip deck, they try to give you that bit of a heart shape with the way the blades are crossed here. So I appreciate what they went for. Here we have the Four of Blades, the Five of Blades, the Six of Blades, Seven of Blades, the Eight of Blades. Here we have the Nine of Blades, the 10 of Blades. Here's the Page of Blades, the Knight of Blades, the Queen of Blades, and the King of Blades. So those were the cards. Now let's take a look at the deck and how it feels overall. So first thought right off the bat, these are not big cards by any stretch of the imagination. They are practically your standard size tarot deck, which is surprising considering how big the box was. Now, I understand why that box was as big as it is. They had to fit that beautiful guidebook into the box. I would have liked for these cards to be a little bit bigger. That is just my personal preference. Speaking on the cards, they are beautiful cardstock. The back of it is very simple. It has the four suits a little geometric pattern and a beautiful little brown with a little bit of discoloration on the edges, as if you've been using this deck for a long time. Again, the cards don't have a lot of reflectiveness to them, which is great. The color, it's this beautiful tan beige color, very easy on the eyes. Overhand shuffle, not a problem. Beautifully does the overhand shuffle, my preferred method. If you're more of a ripple shuffler, again, not a problem. A lot of cards these days have really good card stock, really good quality. There's no reason why you should be getting subpar cards if you're paying decent prices for these decks. Not to go on a rant, but I did purchase a deck once. It was not the best quality. I immediately returned it. I told the creator I was not happy with it. It was a bit pricey. It came out to about $50 US. And the creator told me that, well, they are in China and it costs money to get the deck to me. And I understood that. But if the deck had been a better quality, I wouldn't have minded. Anyway, I digress. Let's talk about these cards. Beautiful cards. The imagery itself is stunning. The contrast between the black and the white of the anatomy or the suit being shown with the colors of, again, the botanical, the flowers, the foliage. There was a section in the book that goes over the colors and what the colors mean. If you pick yourself up a copy, take a look at that section. As you can see here, just these three cards, we have white flowers, red flowers, yellow flowers, different types of flowers. Here we have a purple flower, a black flower, really bright yellow flowers, just beautiful overall. I don't see a reason not to pick up this deck. If these images speak to you, if you want to learn something a little bit different, if you've been using the same tarot deck for years and you want something a little bit different, maybe this is your vibe, maybe you are curious like me and you like to see what's out there, what's different, what's new, learn something new, I think this deck is right up your alley. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. I would really appreciate it if you give this video a like, hit subscribe if you haven't already. If you enjoy content like this, make sure to share it with your friends, family, someone who you think might like this deck. It really does mean a lot. Comment down below, what did you think? Is it something you are interested in picking up? Or is the idea of a pip deck just a little too much for you? Again, thank you so much for being here. It really does mean a lot. And I will see you next time.